Listen.
Wait, you made a Snake Eyes movie without us?
No, just without you guys.
Snake Eyes is the newest reboot of a reboot that's being pitched as a spin-off, taking a spin on a character who's never taken his mask off. In fact, Henry didn't even audition for the role since they approached him with this idea of making him the face of this new franchise. And while Snake Eyes is known for being silent, you know they weren't going to cast Golding and not use his accent.
Snake Eyes doesn't talk.
Actually, I'm Henry Golding.
Henry Golding?
I play Snake Eyes in the new movie.
I personally was excited for this one because it had my boy Iko in it, and they claimed that 90 to 95% of the stunts were all practical with the actors, and well, they weren't lying. It was the actors, and the story was a lot like The Raid 2, which I would definitely recommend to go watch. But here they're obviously looking to reboot the cinematic universe, starting off with an okay rent it, with a sequel already being written for Snake Eyes. They're supposedly already working on a Prime show for Lady J, and to make it global, they'll probably even bring in the G.I. Jose's.
Ay, caramba!
Let me explain. Now, the previous two were pretty goofy blockbusters, with the first being helmed by the director of The Mummy, which is why Wild Fraser appears in it. The second had Henry's Crazy Rich director, John M. Chu, taking it to new heights.
World ain't saving itself.
If G.I. Joes were the Call of Duty for the youth of the past, then these movies were like a blend of both. It follows Channing Tatum and his team as they get drafted by a hologram Quaid into becoming G.I. Joes in order to fight the evil Cobra Syndicate. They're dealing with nanobites that get G.I. jabbed into the Joes, global weapons for world domination, and The Rock continuing to work for the White House.
What if the president isn't the president?
But with this new one, I guess those are just locked away for now.
Well, let's find out if we've wasted $1 billion taxpayer dollars.
That said, I'd rather this be a reboot, because if not, we're following the story of a man who would eventually get stepped up by Channing Tatum and get whooped. Look, it's Tarantino. See, the previous live actions did dive a bit into Snake Eyes flashbacks, how he was a lone boy who found refuge in this clan who was able to take him in, while Tommy, who was already in it, was too jealous to ever get along with him, eventually even killing their leader and running away. Personally, I think the best parts of those movies are the bits dealing with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and the dichotomy of their relationship. And fun fact, Snake Eyes was played by Darth Maul actor Ray Park. Now, they've got the director of the Divergent movies handling this commando, but at least this dude worked on one of the best movies of all time, Time Traveler's Wife. So full spoilers for this one. This one starts off with a 20-year flashback where a young Snake sees his dad get hunted down and killed by a man who pulls a Harvey Dent but with dice, because unbeknownst to him, his father was a G.I. Joe, and now he's decided to take up the name of Snake Eyes since that's what his father rolled to his death, which is probably not that healthy. They did get creator Larry Hama's co-sign for this new take, since he himself said that back in the day, he was just slapping symbols when he was first coming up with the writing.
I had no idea why they both had it. Or what it signified, or anything. I just put this symbol on their arms. And then 4 issues later, I had to figure out why.
Snake then grows up as a street fighter in underground LA before hitting the docks and joining the Yakuza, only to get tangled in the wrong things when he betrays the Mafia in order to save this dude named Tommy, who he was forced to kill. Like The Raid, that gets him into Tommy's good graces. Tommy takes him to Japan, inducts him into his clan, and vouches for him all the way. And I really like Andrew's take on Tommy. He's next in line to be the leader of this clan, which at the moment is run by his grandma's son, who are all there to protect the Jewel of the Sun. And this dude abides by the Bushido Code and is working hard to take up the mantle. He's even out on the field recruiting, since the clan is always looking for outsiders who can bring in a perception of the new world that'll keep them up to date. That's where Akiko comes in, who I thought was an interesting new character. They just kind of treated her like a hall monitor, though. She straight up gets punched square in the face 2 times in this movie. Like, she's the head of security who knows something fishy's going on with this new guy, yet gets duped with his sob story. I think she has potential, but they just didn't show it here. There's then the Masters, who are all there to push Snake Eyes in his 3 challenges. It's pretty much his training to become a ghost and to honor the code of the clan, and that's where Iko comes in to face him and push him to the edge by testing him to take a bowl of water out of his hands. There's Blind Master, who helps him face his fears, and then a Navi Light that he follows into this chamber of secrets that's meant to cleanse his ego, you know? Because each challenge is pushing the idea that with selflessness, there will be harmony.
We did about 2 months of pre-production in Vancouver, and that included a boot camp with Kenji Tanigaki and his crew of samurai experts. It was a solid 4 hours a day, every single day, with like an hour and a half, 2 hours of script work after that.
For literally 2.5 months, I could not sit on the toilet. And I couldn't, and if I made my way to the toilet, I couldn't get up to the toilet. Literally, my legs were in ruins.
In terms of the action, I thought it was decent. There's this car carrier scene that I thought was pretty cool. There's a rope cut bit with a chair in the beginning fight that was super dope. And when it comes to Andrew, who plays Tommy, dude's a true warrior, and he weaves those blades like he's a conductor. But the thing is that while it's cool to have the actors do their own stunts, sadly, many times that means they're gonna compromise with the camera work, and boy does it move a lot. Like, they cut right before the stars would get cut, and while there's some great choreography that shines through, too much of it is spliced to the point that the behind the scenes are better. Like, it's even there where you see Iko looking like he was training the stuntmen. Now, in terms of Iko, they didn't do him as dirty as the movie Stuber did, or Mile 22, that had like 23 cuts a minute, but like, he did more fighting in the trailers than he did the feature. I think they filmed more behind the scenes than they did scenes, so he wouldn't one-up the star.
He didn't expect.
The director here is clearly a big Japanese film fan, and you can spot more homages than in Mangold's Wolverine. With them actually filming in Japan, with some parts even looking like a Tokyo commercial, they filmed in these 1,000-year-old temples and honored traditional fighting styles. They just didn't speak Japanese. Like, some bits are subtitled, since the idea is that Snake Eyes is a true foreigner who isn't fluent. Like, he's too busy on Rosetta Stone to protect the stone. But we're also talking about a character whose flashbacks take place in Washington State, a dude who grows up in LA, like he's fully American, yet has a British accent.
Actually, I'm Henry Golding.
Henry Golding!
Kenta here is the main movie's villain. He's the man running the Yakuza and is actually Tommy's cousin, who would have been next in line for the clan before obviously getting kicked out since he was the bad guy. But this fool is working with him. The whole plan was to raid the clan and gain their trust in exchange for the man who killed Snake's father. Yet after Snake pulls a Judas on the clan and gets to confront the father's killer, dude just lets him go? Like, I understand forgiveness and abiding by the code, but like, bruh, this man's still a killer. And you gave him back his El Dorado dice? Nah. When you really look at it, Tommy's the one who put it all on the line. Not only was he duped by this boy who he vouched for, but man is always rolling with honor. When the clan wanted to kill Kenta, it was him who pushed to kick him out. He forgave Snake after getting two-timed, and still he gets betrayed with a blood brother pact just to get the blood diamond back. So much for being a gentleman. Scarlett also appears in the second half, who is now played by Samara Weaving. It's not a big role, but as the title states, this is the origins for the G.I. Joes, and eventually you're going to get all of them back with all of their one-liners.
You don't ask to be part of G.I. Joe. You get asked.
You think it doesn't.
We are tough, but we're also sensitive.
It's almost like they're based off toys. But you see, there's a lot that they can do with Snake Eyes because, one, he's always been the coolest. There's a lot of other genres that you can deal with, as seen with this one, and he's always been the smartest.
We have to find a quiet way to get inside.
Elevator cables.
The Baroness also shows up in this one since she's helping Kenta on behalf of Cobra, and so she goes to Tokyo, not for a money heist, but to snatch this jewel. Legend has it that this stone possesses supernatural powers, so once Kenta runs the jewels, he turns on Cobra and kamehamehas half the clan's temple, and even though he's up a stone to none, dude blows one of the worst third act leads I've seen in a blockbuster in a while. Like when the other goons showed up to a gunfight with knives, Scarlett just shot them up. This man has a whole infinity stone and doesn't blast anyone. Like, boy got beat with a fan. A fan! In the end, the clan is able to restore order, but because Tommy wanted to use the stone, which he wasn't supposed to, in order to protect the clan, they kicked Tommy out of the clan. They even tease a scene, which appears in the trailer. In the movie, I'd call it an after 2 credits, because they show it immediately, that he's going to become Storm Shadow, and he's going to be the next villain. But in reality, I'm just more interested in his story. Like, I left the Snake Eyes movie rooting for Tommy, and wanting him to get some justice, if this two-timer over here could be forgiven. So if you've ever wondered who would make the better solo film, well, now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Thank you all for watching this video. I'm curious to know your thoughts on this movie. I'd say it's better than the other 2 G.I. Joe movies that we got, but it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to approach it, because one, I really do like the style they were able to do here with the different genre influences, because clearly the G.I. approach that they had, I mean, they rebooted it in less than a decade, so that wasn't working, but I really don't know what their plans are, because they're teasing a 4th film in the series, so I don't know if it really is a reboot. Clearly it's a reboot with this movie, but I don't know. They have so many plans up there. There's the idea that the producer wants to combine G.I. Joes and Transformers. Hey, studios are doing crazy stuff nowadays. Everybody wants to be the next Feige. They want to build whatever they want, but Hey, we'll see. It is interesting to note, though, that Larry, the creator, he used to work for Marvel, and it was when he was working for Marvel that they actually scrapped a whole S.H.I.E.L.D. arc that he had, and when they had him write for G.I. Joe, he just incorporated all of those ideas into that. So if you've ever felt that G.I. Joe's copying Marvel, I mean, to a degree, it's been there in the past.
Storm Shadow, you will tell us Cobra's endgame.
Other than that, I'm curious to know your thoughts about this movie or what you would want to see in the future, anything else dealing with films. And until next time, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll send you a replica of Morning Light.